So we've left the self-sustainable farm and now we are in Bosnia. How did I end up in Bosnia? I don't know. I never knew anything about Bosnia before I went. I was looking for a good hostel to work at, and Vagabond came up, had good reviews from volunteers and guests alike. And then I ended up in Bosnia. So I didn't even know about the Bosnian War, which was something that my mom mentioned to me when I said I was going to Bosnia, and I'm like, really? Were they? Well, like, I'm sorry, I can be ignorant with some things, but in the end, it was one of the best, if not the best, opportunity in terms of volunteering. I'm gonna get to that, but I want to talk about Sarajevo first. Let me have a look at some of the videos. Good morning / afternoon. I always say that. We're just having a wander around looking for lunch in Sarajevo. Yeah, so it's interesting about Sarajevo because so I did this exchange, and then a few months later, Carla, the girl I mentioned in the Croatian episode, she was looking for a recommendation of where to go. So I told her to work in the same hostel in Sarajevo. And I didn't say anything to her, but like I had experienced this weird like energy in Sarajevo. It's a place it's hard to explain it and put it into words, but when you first get there, it's kind of overwhelming because it has an energy. Like it's not a bad energy. It's got it has an energy. It's there, and you feel it because I felt it. And for the first few days, I felt like I needed to be introspective for a while. I felt like I needed to look inwards, just listen to what that city was telling me. I don't know, I sound very hippie, and this is not from the French farm. This is just like, you have to go to experience it, because I went through that. I didn't say anything to her, and she went through the exact same thing. She went through the exact same like process of feeling overwhelmed and having to be introspective. And I think it's because obviously it's a place that's been through so much. They had a war in 92, between 92 and 95. Not going to go into that, I only have 10 minutes, you Google it. Or go to Bosnia and find out about it. But yeah, and then like the city is still recovering. Bosnia is not the most stable country politically still. So it's hard for them to sort of get things going. So it's a place that is still recovering, and there's hope. There's a lot of hope. Like, people really want to get out of a bad situation, and they really want to get back to where it was before. You see that desire. There's a lot of, that's what I felt, and it might be, a Bosnian person might disagree with me. I don't know. That's what I felt. Like, I felt like people had this energy about them of getting back on their feet. It was not like a sad place. A lot of people ask me if Bosnia is a sad place, and I'm like, it's not sad. The war is there. Like, you can feel that the place has been through something, but it's more of like an energy of like, right, like we're getting back on our feet. And to make like a weird like analogy here, that's how I felt when I left the UK. So maybe it came like full circle there, because when I left the UK, I'd gone through like stuff that no women should go through in their lives, and still I didn't feel sad. Like, I was leaving the UK after so many years. Like, I was leaving my friends behind, my stuff, and like even like you know, dreams. Like, I had this dream of living in the UK for the rest of my life. I don't want to feel sorry for myself for the rest of my life or for years. I just want to really feel better. I just want to grow and get out of this. And I think that's the same sort of energy that I felt in Sarajevo. It's a beautiful place. Like, the nature in Bosnia is incredible. Like, I don't think it's known enough, because you get on a bus to like, even from like Sarajevo to Mostar or to Montenegro, which is, I went to Montenegro as well during this trip, and I'm going to talk about it in a minute. But you see like these huge mountains, and you've got like the lakes, and they have like turquoise waters. It's beautiful. Bosnia is a beautiful, beautiful place. And people talk about the war, and I'm like, oh, the war, yeah, it happened. And it's interesting to know about it, especially when people are still alive, like the people who went through it are still there, and you can ask them questions directly. And it is interesting and necessary to know about it. But like there's so much more to it. And then in terms of like the museums, like I chose not to go to war museums because I knew it would put me, like, get me down. I've been to like the Holocaust Museum in Berlin, and I couldn't sleep that night because I am like that. Like some people can just go through it and then like, oh yeah, okay, like I know it's sad, but I don't get affected by it. But like I do, I get super affected by these things. So I chose not to do that. I chose to focus on like the nature, so like there's the mountains. Like in a way, Sarajevo looks a lot like Zagreb because it's surrounded by mountains and it's kind of like in a valley. And you can go up the mountains, there's a cable car where you can walk, there's a lot of trails in the mountains around Sarajevo. There's not like a lot of obvious touristy things aside from the war museums, but it's just a nice place to go out for a walk and just experience it. In terms of the hostel, so I was doing, for half of the time I was making beds for the first 2 or 3 weeks, and then I moved on to night shifts. Good morning, kids. It's work day. It's approximately 9 a.m. and I am folding sheets in the laundry room. The best place to be. I don't know why I said that. I'm still 20% asleep, so it was the best, or one of the best. I can't really choose, but it was definitely one of the best experiences I've had as a world packer. Just because of their work ethics was incredible. Like it's what it's supposed to be. Like they are hosts who gets it. Like they understand the concept of volunteering, which it doesn't happen all the time. So there were times that like I would finish my shift, I would finish all my tasks before my shift ended, and they would just say, yeah, you can finish now, it's fine. And then I would already be like, whoa, like what the hell? They're not gonna come up with a random task just to keep me busy, like what the fuck? But then as I am just sitting on the couch finishing early, the owner of the hostel is like cleaning toilets. And then I approached her and I'm like, do you need help? Like I've finished all my tasks, I'm still in my shift time, like do you need anything? And then she goes like, no, I'm okay. So that's a different vibe.
The goalie got a red card, and so it was one of the players was just actually the goalie.
13 saves coming into this
So many beautiful places to visit outside Sarajevo, so I definitely recommend it. I went to Montenegro, but there's other places within Bosnia that you can go to which are amazing. But speaking of Montenegro, yeah, I got the bus from Sarajevo to Montenegro. It's an 8-hour bus journey, so I'd spent 4 days in Kotor, in Montenegro. So it's worth, because it's such a long journey, it's worth going for a few days. And yeah, it was amazing. It was probably the most beautiful place I've ever seen in my life, because Kotor is on a bay which is surrounded by mountains. And I saw the most beautiful sunset I've ever seen in my life. It was one of those moments that you just sit there and you look at it and you're like, life is good, man. Like, the world is a cool place. While I was there as well, I learned how to swim. Well, I have this thing that I love water and I love the sea, but I can't swim. I get nervous. I don't know if there's a phobia name for it, but like I get nervous when I go into open sea, or when I go to like swimming pools and I can't touch the ground with my feet. So I get a bit of anxiety, and I've been trying to overcome that because I love the beach so much and the sea. So in Kotor, I actually started to sort of try and overcome that fear. I didn't go like diving or anything, so that's like a next level thing. Maybe this year. It's a bay, so there's no like waves, but it's pretty open sea. There's like fish and stuff. And I was able to like swim, like it's like dog paddling like that, which is the only way I can swim. So like if you throw me in water, I won't drown. So I get by, but I get nervous. Maybe the next thing as well would be my fear of heights. That would be a good one to overcome as well.